I was really hoping not to talk about this woman ever again. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to. But apparently, I have to. And the woman I'm talking about is Candace Owens. The white woman stuck in a black woman's body. I really honestly think that that's the situation she finds herself in. She has this fervent evangelical hatred towards anything black. She's basically a black white supremacist. And I'm not saying that as some kind of joke or anything like that. So you guys could reference Dave Chappelle's skit about Clayton Bigsby. I'm being 100% honest. Now, this all stems from the fact that not too long ago at the Grammy Awards, rappers Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion had a sexually explicit performance. Now, I haven't watched all of it. I've only watched bits and pieces of it. Fox News has made their biggest spiel on it, which is where we find ourselves. Candace Owens, she had to say this on Fox News about her performance. You'll be shaking your head too when you watch it.
Great. They say this is fabulous, that this is the stuff that children should be aspiring towards. So at the same time, Tucker, that we have kids that are not learning hard academics anymore in school, right? Forget about mathematics and science. You can trust the science and trust Dr. Fauci, but you have these kids learning about critical race theory. They're learning that they should aspire to people like Cardi B. You see that fundamentally we are seeing the destruction of American values, American principles, and it's terrifying. I think parents should be terrified that this is the direction that our society is heading towards. And again, we are weakening America. That's really what we should be talking about. This is a weakening of American society. We are setting the stage, and it feels like we are looking at corrosion, like we are about to see the end of an empire. America cannot survive. It cannot be sustained under these sorts of values and principles.
Wow. First of all, do you breathe when you talk, Candace? And second of all, this is the Cardi B dancing is going to be the corrosion of America, the ending of America. So, this wasn't the erosion of America?
Where the fuck are they? That's what we fucking need to have 30,000 guns on it. Next trip. That's what we need. Let's go! Let's go! Take it! Take it! Take it out! Use the shield! Use the shield! Use the shield! We need fresh patriots abroad!
Or having a president that does things like, says and does things like this?
COVID-19, or as I call it, the China virus. The China virus. The China virus. The China virus. I call it the China virus. I call it the China plague. Kung flu. Yeah. Kung flu.
Really? A woman's performance is really going to destroy America. More on that later, real quick, because I haven't even started with this woman yet. But anyway, she goes on Twitter, and the two of them, Candace Owens and Cardi B, have a Twitter fight. Cardi B's first response by saying, "Yay, we made Fox News, guys. Womp womp womp." Her response is, just at me next time directly. You are a cancer cell to the culture. Young black girls are having their minds poisoned by what you're trying to package and sell them as empowerment. I'm one of the very few that has the courage to tell you the truth. You should thank me. In the immortal words of the greatest actor out there, Samuel L. Jackson,
Bitch, please.
but it goes even worse. It really gets 10 times worse. The tweets here from Candace Owens. She goes on to say, if you think making your husband is a sandwich, if you think making your husband a sandwich is a sin by popping your vagina into another woman's vagina in front of the world is power, you're a lost soul.
Bitch, please.
Wow. So, lost souls in this country will include these guys?
Bitch, please.
Cardi B went on to respond to that tweet and said, as a black woman, you should know better than that. You know damn well America made a caricature of black women only being good in the kitchen and taking care of children, also known as the mammy. Oof. But then Candace Owens goes off the deep end once again. Her response is, you are insecure and I irk you because I see right through your facade. You are a large part of you are part of a larger cancer that is manifesting in black culture. There is no person in America who can look you in the face and honestly say they wish their daughters were turned out to be just like you.
Bitch, please.
Now, I'll give her just a very, very small credit on that. But who do you think that black girl should be? Because we know you don't want them to be like Angela Bassett. Amazing career. Amazing movie career. Social activist. We know you want them to be like Angela Davis. Social activist. We know you don't want them to be like Billie Holiday. One of the greatest African-American singers of all time. Sung a song that turned this nation on its ear. Strange Fruit. We know you don't want them to be like that. So who exactly do you want black women to be like? Black girls to be like? Who do you want them to be? Because I know damn sure it's not the strong black women that we know in this country throughout history. But I'm not a bit surprised at something like this coming from Candace Owens. I'm not. I really am not. It's coming from a woman who is 100% racist against her own people, against African Americans. I mean, she might as well be. I think honestly, she looks at herself in the mirror every day and hates herself. I wish I didn't have this black skin. I'm supposed to be beautiful. So who exactly do you think these women, the black women, should be like? Seriously, I'm asking the question. Who? But this stems from another large problem. See, I may have my problems with Cardi B. She's a terrible actress. She proved that on her movie with Jennifer Lopez. She's a terrible person in the commercial she made with I forgot those guys. Wayne's World, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey for the Uber Eats commercials. And I think her performances are a little over-sexualized. I'll leave it at that. But I am not using my black skin to attack her as Candace Owens is. And honestly, I'd rather take my moral messages about African Americans from people who actually been in the struggle, in the fight, instead of a clown who thinks that every black woman, black man should be people like Donald Trump and his screwed up family. Like the Republican Party and their screw ups like Ted Cruz and all them. And here's the real heart of the matter. I'm going to give you a huge lesson about Candace Owens. This woman has a very extreme hatred of black people, of the black culture, everything. Now, she went off against one of my favorite Marvel movies, Black Panther. I mean, a critic is a critic. You're going to like it or you're going to hate it. But this woman, she went off and said it was a pro-Trump movie because it discussed keeping Wakanda, the location of Wakanda, sealed from the rest of the world. Almost sounds like the border wall Donald Trump is trying to build. But it's more than just a small thing like that. She took it to the next level, like really to the next level. What you're about to see is video clips from a video she made last June, not too long after the George Floyd video execution tape was shown to the general public, to everyone out there, which sparked all the protests and everything that we saw last year. But she is not only is the fact, I'm just going to show you the clips real quick. And I do apologize for this. I'm sorry to even subject you all to this. It's not fair. But you will understand what this woman is after you see them.
I recently came across something that was an idea that was planted into my head by Shelby Steele, and it has been something that I cannot forget. It is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life, and it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. Shelby Steele said that the Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities because we are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society. Now, let me explain what that means. It means to say that not every Black American is a criminal, not every Black American is committing crimes, but we are unique in that we are the only people that fight and scream and demand support and justice for the people in our community that are up to no good. You would be hard pressed to find, a Jewish person who has spent 5 stints in prison, who commits a crime and dies while committing a crime, and that the Jewish people champion and demand justice for. You will be hard pressed to find this in white America. You'll be hard pressed to find this even in Latino America.
Oh boy. Oh God. So everyone's going off about George Floyd dying because African Americans are the only culture out there that celebrates criminals. And what exactly did George Floyd do? He had accounted for 20, and he may have had drugs in his system, but that doesn't justify the fact that a police officer had his knee on his neck for a little over 8 minutes. That doesn't make any kind of excuses there. And this bitch is lying, obviously, because when George Zimmerman, the murderer of Trayvon Martin, got away with it, white America was celebrating it. I bet you were even celebrating it. So you lied on that too. But the reason why we were so angry and still have a right to be angry after the murder of George Floyd is because that tape showed that that level of force was not necessary. That the cop didn't have to go that far. That the police officer had his knee on his neck for over 8 minutes. That is premeditated murder right there. And the cop has been arrested, and now the trial is about to begin. But it just gets downhill from there on the video I'm about to show you. Here's the second clip.
I also am not going to accept the narrative that this is the best the Black community has to offer. For whatever reason, it has become fashionable over the last 5 or 6 years for us to turn criminals into heroes overnight. And it is something that I find to be despicable, and it's something that I refuse to stand by any longer, and I am not going to play a part in it, no matter how much pressure comes from black liberals and black conservatives as some token of people wanting you to believe that this is the only way you can be black, is you have to say this was wrong and that this person was amazing. I won't do that. George Floyd was not an amazing person, and as soon as this video hit the internet, I did just basic searches. Everyone jumped on it and was looking at the police officer, and everyone agrees that the police officer was wrong, and the police officer has been arrested. So that is not the reason I'm not discussing that, is because that is not something that has been misconstrued in the media. He has been turned into the devil that he is, and there is no reason for us to harp on that any longer, because white Americans are not uplifting Derek Chauvin as a victim or pretending that he's an amazing human being. But George Floyd is being uplifted as an amazing human being.
First off, Lee, let's get something straight. George Floyd wasn't raised up as an amazing human being. The entire country saw him being murdered by a police officer. The entire country reacted because the police officer crossed the line. You yourself said that the cop crossed the line, that he's being treated like the devil himself. And he damn well deserves that. And frankly, if up to me, he damn well deserves a whole lot more than that. No one is holding him up as some hero. But we saw a man being murdered. And yeah, he's had a bad past. I get that. You hate criminals. I get that. I hate criminals too. But that does not justify a police officer putting a knee to the neck of a man who was unarmed, kept screaming he couldn't breathe, who was subdued. And yeah, maybe the drugs had something on him, but why did he have his knee on his neck to the point of cutting off circulation, oxygen, to kill him? Now, the funerals and everything else that happened in the aftermath, I don't have any problems with that. And it's obvious that you do. And it's very damned obvious that you wish that they do the same thing to Rush Limbaugh when he passed away. Do you hold him up as an amazing man? An amazing human being? You obviously do. Because you hold up Donald Trump to be an amazing human being. You said good things about the Nazis that were played back at you by the United States Congress. So, moving on.
Did he deserve to die in that manner? No. I can't say it enough. No, he didn't deserve to die in that manner. But I will be damned if the rest of us upstanding black citizens have to suffer because of this incident that rarely ever happens in America. So here are some numbers for you people that are still believing that police brutality is a real, racially motivated police brutality is a real thing. First and foremost, okay, you have a 25% higher chance as a violent white criminal of dying at the hands of a police officer than you do as a black criminal. Last year, a total of 9 unarmed black men were killed by police officers, and 19 white men were killed by police officers. For those of you that aren't good at mathematics, right, you might be thinking, oh, but Candace, white people represent 60% of the population and black people represent just 13% of the population. It doesn't matter what percentage of the population you represent. It matters what percentage of the violent criminal community you represent. And unfortunately, black community commits a disproportionate amount of crimes compared to the white community.
Now, she almost had me with the statistics, but she completely lost me when she said that African Americans commit more of the crimes in this country compared to whites. No, we don't. And even if that were the case, crime is a universal problem. There's not black crime, there's no white crime, there's supposed to be just crime. And the crime that this cop, Derek Chauvin, executed George Floyd for was over a counterfeit dollar bill. And now everyone on Facebook, since he's dead, thinking that Chauvin's going to get away with it, which he probably might, we don't know. And everyone out there is celebrating the fact that he's dead. Not even considering the fact that this is a problem that's been going on for too long. And about that, she goes off and says, it rarely happens, a situation that rarely happens. Then why do we have, that I can name right now, over 36 African Americans in the last 3 years that have been murdered and killed and possibly even, or at the very least, hurt by police brutality? Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, Fidel Castillo, just to name 5. Those are just 5 names I named off right there. And how many of those cases actually got convictions against the people that get killed? Very, very few. If we're lucky, 1. The Ahmaud Arbery case is still about to be going to trial. The young black man from Georgia who got shot by a couple of vigilantes and recorded. So it's not an isolated incident, as this woman is trying to say it is. It happens more often than she realizes, than any of us realize. And she doesn't want to face that reality. Maybe she's doing this to suck up to the right wing, to Fox News, to get some job there. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it's worth it, Candace. You sold your soul to these people, and they will stab you in the back in a heartbeat.
You want to know the best way to avoid not being brutalized by a police officer is to limit the amount of encounters you need to have with them, especially when it comes to violent crimes. Okay? I am not going to stand for this continual bottom-feeding narrative of us martyring people that have had 5, 6, 7 stints in prison and then pretending they were upstanding heroes to our community. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Excuse my language. It's absolute bullshit, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to play pretend. I'm tired of sitting here and being called a coon or an Uncle Tom because I won't play this bottom-feeding game with you. If you want to hang up posters of criminals on your wall and talk about them as your martyrs, do it. Do it. You can do it.
You won't be called a coon or anything else because you won't buy into the, what you call it? The bottom-feeding narrative? Candace, nobody is calling you a coon, although you act like a complete psycho bitch. But in fact, I'm a person who believes in the law. And the only people who have ever called me coon or the N-word or jungle bunny or anything else like that has been white Trump supporters. Not one black man who doesn't support Trump, like you, has ever called me any of those names. And they all do it because I don't support Donald Trump. And I want justice for George Floyd or anyone else who died at the hands of police brutality. What really bothers me about all of this, is the simple fact you're playing some sort of victim card. No one is victimizing you, Candace. You're doing that all by yourself every time you pick up some cause you want to aspire to. Like this Cardi B thing. You're acting like you're such a victim and all you have to do is change the damn channel. That's why God created remote controls, Candace. You don't like it? Change the channel. If you want to go even a step further, complain to the networks. Complain to the FCC. But when you start saying things like this, saying that that this is destroying America, this is destroying black culture, while the people who are actually destroying America and African American culture, the people you worship, and I wholeheartedly believe this, Candace, you practically get on your knees to worship these people. They're the ones destroying America. They're the ones destroying black culture. You just saw video of Donald Trump's supporters breaking into the White House because he lost an election, because he pushed them to attack the United States Capitol, because he lost the election. Those are the people you are ascribing to. Don't put this on Cardi B or anyone else here. This is all on you. And the reason why we're holding up George Floyd is because he was murdered on the street in broad daylight by a police officer who crossed the line. Why are we holding up people like Breonna Taylor? Because she was murdered by police officers who broke into the wrong damn house. Why are we holding up Fidel Castillo? Because he was murdered by a police officer, because even after Fidel Castillo informed the cop that he was armed, that he was licensed, they had a CCW, carry a concealed weapon permit. Those three things got Fidel Castillo killed. No, as a matter of fact, there's a fourth reason why he was killed, because of his black skin. And you are perpetuating the stereotype that African Americans are violent criminals, all African Americans. Despite what you said in this video, I wholeheartedly believe that you hold that belief that every black man, every black woman, every black boy, every black girl is a criminal. They're the other. That Donald Trump and so many other people in the right wing have created. And you are pushing that very stereotype. This is the last clip from her on this, and I'm just going to move on.
I think the perception of us, by the way, is on the outside. You ever look at the comments? You ever go into like an anonymous blog and see what people say? Oh, just black people being black people. I see those racist comments. Oh, just black people got to riot. Black people got to be black people. You know how they are. Oh, just black people being ignorant. That is the perception. When people get to be anonymous and talk about us, that's what they think about us. Right? They think that we are the kind of people that will forever uphold criminals as the martyrs of our society, that we will never take account for the things that we do wrong, right? That we don't have it within us to educate ourselves to get ahead. And that for those of us that actually do it, well, we get called coons, right? You got Condoleezza Rice, she's a coon. Larry Elder, he's a coon. Dr. Ben Carson, brain surgeon, first ever to perform the surgery of splitting twins that are connected by the head. He's a coon, right? What a loser he is. What a stupid guy he is. Kanye West says he's not going to be told to do it because of the color of his skin. He's a coon. He's lost. He's in the sunken place. The sunken place. That's where we all are, right? Because we demand more and we will get more out of this society because we're going to get ahead, right? That's what's going to happen. We're going to get ahead. Black conservatives get ahead because we don't subscribe to this narrative. Because you're not going to catch me outside trying to grab a TV pretending that it's because a martyr named George Floyd got killed. Okay.
First of all, I already know what the perception of us is when it comes to white people in this country. We had to live with that perception for 8 straight years when Barack Obama was president of the United States. You didn't mention him. And when you mouthed off on Condoleezza Rice and Ben Carson, you didn't mention Barack Obama, Harvard-educated, Harvard Law Review, became the first African-American president of the United States. Why is that, Candace? Why didn't you mention Barack Obama in your spiel when African-Americans are being called coons? When you say blacks call educated people, educated African-Americans coons, why didn't you mention Barack Obama? I'm waiting. Nothing to say? But as to the rest of it, again, George Floyd was murdered because of a police officer who had his knee on his neck for over 8 minutes. That is why we are holding him up. And yes, he is a martyr, because he was murdered by a criminal justice system that doesn't care about us. If you had just stopped, get off your knees to the white ring, to Donald Trump. Actually, I didn't mean to put that picture in your minds, you guys. If you just stop listening to the crap that the right wing pushes, maybe, just maybe, you'll understand why we are holding George Floyd up. Maybe that's why we want Derek Chauvin brought to justice. That's why we don't support Donald Trump. That's why we don't support a nation that looks at my black skin and sees a target or sees a threat. And again, I'm going to say, the only people who have ever called me coon or nigger or jungle bunny or anything else like that, the only people who have ever said anything like that to me have been white Trump supporters. Not African Americans. African Americans, if they're drug dealers or anything else, then we encourage one another. We wish that others would do better than doing drugs, better than anything else. But in the end, it's up to the individual person. We encourage our own. We don't cut each other down. Now, I go off against Ben Carson because he is a moron. Instead of doing his job as a medical doctor, he could have been put in charge of Human Helmet Services, not urban development. He made a total fool of himself right there by being the token black man to Donald Trump's regime. Condoleezza Rice, I don't have any real beef with her, but she lied for Bush on a daily basis. So your argument falls apart, and this argument with you and Cardi B falls completely apart because it's all rooted in your interpretation of what black people should be. You want black people to be like Donald Trump, like the rest of the Republican Party, like that idiot Cruz, like that sellout Marco Rubio. You want black women to be like Donald Trump's wife, the Melania Trump. You want black people to be like the Trump family itself. It's not going to happen. And as for Cardi B, this feud with her, stop. Because you're going to lose all the time. Because everyone is going to point to this video. They're going to see the clips of your insulting George Floyd, focusing on his police record other than the fact of being killed, being murdered on the street. And they're going to see you for what you are, Candace. And that is a racist. And someone's going to say, she's black. How can she be a racist? I don't know what to say to that. I really don't know what to say to that at all. This woman is a racist. That's all I gotta say. And she's not racist because she's trying to one up Cardi B. She's a racist because everything you just heard. I mean, seriously. I mean, what exactly are you trying to prove? You want black people to be better? We can be. But when you start cutting people down like this, it shows us that you're no better than they are. Than the white Trump supporters, the right wing. You're no better than they are, Candace. You're no better. I'm going to end it like this. You have your problems with Cardi B. I may have my problems with Cardi B. But no problem would make me ever sell out my black skin to make a few points on Fox News, as you did with Tucker Carlson. Nothing. You have to look in the mirror and see the hateful person you are, Candace. I look in the mirror and I see a strong black man, a strong American. You see a coward. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.